This interview is brought to you by First Majestic Silver Corp., one of the world's purest and fastest growing silver mining companies.
Welcome back to Cambridge House Live. I'm Vanessa Collette here at the Canadian Investor Conference, Vancouver, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Gwen Preston, the resource maven. Welcome, Gwen. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, Gwen, what's your background?
So I've been in this industry for 8 years or so. I spent the majority of that time writing for the Northern Miner, which is sort of the industry-leading newspaper. It's been around for 100 years. They just celebrated that anniversary. So it was an incredible learning platform. I visited projects all over the world. I met management teams for companies of all sizes, and that's where I learned what this sector is about. In the middle of that stint, I spent 2 years working for Casey Research with Marin Katuza. So that was a different window of information, and I learned a lot from that. And then just last fall, I saw what was going on in the markets, that this is the bottom, and decided that I really wanted to be more actively I wanted to participate in the markets much more actively, so I left and started my own resource investing newsletter.
Now, what are you advising your subscribers right now?
So the main message is that this is the bottom. Okay. There's quite a bit of evidence that shows we can't go down much more. There's evidence around the gold price in terms of producers' all-in sustaining costs being right where we are. Right. There's evidence around supply constraints for other metals. So we aren't just looking at a gold-based rally going forward. We're looking at zinc, we're looking at nickel, we're looking at platinum, we're looking for lots of metals that will support it. So this is the bottom. We're starting to see support build. We're starting to see things like the GDX, the Gold Miners ETF, has been on an upward trend for 6 months, which you wouldn't think of looking at the gold price. And we're seeing major investors doing deals. So the guys who make money in this sector repeatedly are writing checks, and that is very significant. And joined by the Chinese, who are also, starting to move in. So there's real signs that this is the bottom, and that means it's time to position a portfolio.
Now, what kind of stage of companies do you like to look at?
My inclination, my heart is more in the earlier stage, more speculative.
Right.
But we've been in this crazy long bear market, which actually means that the opportunities are very broad right now. Mm-hmm. One of the recommendations I made just last week is one of the largest gold producers in the world. Why? Because even though we love the speculative companies, and they have a role to play, if there's an opportunity to buy a major producer that's going to have real leverage to a rising price of gold and who pays dividends, why wouldn't you give your portfolio that kind of foundation? So really, the whole gamut.
Now, what are some of the qualifications that you look for? Is it, asset, people, share structure, or commodity?
So it's all of the above and more. I mean, it's a very common question from people is what's your one requirement? And actually, my list of requirements is about 20 points long. And what I'm telling investors right now is to be very demanding. The noise has quieted down some in the sector. There isn't as many companies out there, but there still are a lot, and they're still all telling stories that sound good. Right. So be really demanding. You need the management, you need jurisdiction, you need grade, you need size, you need manageable capex, you need access to money, you need a long list of requirements. So be really demanding in what you're putting in your portfolio.
Right. Now, what do you see happening in the resource sector in the next 12 months?
What do I see or what do I want? Right. So I don't know the answer to that. I know that this is the bottom, and I know that there will be a very significant rally in the medium term. When precisely that will start is, I wish I knew. I would certainly watch the Venture Exchange this summer. The Venture Exchange is incredibly reliable with its seasons. It always does an early season run, and the summer doldrums happen every year, even during the bull markets. 2004, 5, 6, and 7 all had summer doldrums. The only exception to that rule is when a bull market is starting, the summer is positive.
Interesting.
So watch for the summer. If it's positive, buckle your seatbelts. Looks like we're going. It may be later. We may need more of a downturn in the U.S. markets. We may need some other macro factors to sort of crystallize, but it will happen.
Great. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and giving us the update, Gwen.
Thanks for having me.